Aviva and I want to take the opportunity of wishing all the community a Chag Sameach, a good Yontif.
Hi, everyone. In this time of social distancing, I'm really happy to connect with all of you and to touch base. I personally am really missing our Shabbases where we all gather together and where we all connect to each other every week. After the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, the Torah teaches us that Miriam, the sister of Moses and a prophetess, led the women in song. The Torah goes on to say specifically that she did so with tambourines and drums. We all know that the Israelites left in a great hurry. So, how did Miriam have time to make these instruments? We learn a very profound message from this. Miriam, already as a young child, became a symbol of hope and inspiration for the Jewish people in Egypt. She saved Moses as a baby and always looked forward to the day when the slavery would end. She therefore prepared for this day long before it happened, and although the Jews left in a hurry, she had the instruments with her. This was as a result in her great faith in Hashem that the day of the redemption would eventually happen. It is very heartwarming in these times to see how people are reaching out to one another, as it is a very difficult time for a lot of people, and it really is great to see how everybody is coming to the party and helping one another. We must, however, keep Miriam in mind and emulate what she did. In the same way as Miriam kept her faith in Hashem during the difficult times in Egypt, so too must we keep our faith in Hashem. We must daven from the bottom of our hearts that this difficult time shall come to an end very soon. I wish you all a Chag Sameach.
Following on what Aviva said, she mentioned that the Jews left Egypt in a hurry, and indeed we mentioned this in the Haggadah. The Haggadah mentions at the very beginning of the Haggadah a reason why we eat the matzah. The Haggadah begins with the words that this is the bread of affliction, this is the bread that we ate when we were slaves in Egypt, referring to the 210 years of slavery when the Jews were in Egypt. However, later on in the Haggadah, Rabban Gamliel mentions that there are three mitzvot that are really important to mention, and that is the fact that the matzah was eaten by the Jews when they left Egypt because they left in a hurry. Now, there's a very interesting question that can be asked. It seems to be two reasons why we eat matzah. On the one hand, we seem to be eating matzah because this was the bread that we ate as slaves for 210 years. On the other hand, we seem to be eating matzah because the Jews left in a hurry and there was no time for the bread to rise. The reality is that the emphasis on the Haggadah is on the fact that the Jews left in a hurry. And this really poses a question. If you've got the opportunity of remembering something that happened over 210 years, and at the same time you've got the opportunity of remembering something that happened over a short period of time, surely the 210 years should take preference. However, the Haggadah seems to prefer to emphasize the fact that the Jews left in a hurry over the 210 years. What can we learn from this? Rabban Gamliel understood the difference between the 210 years and the hurry, but really Rabban Gamliel understood that this is not an issue of remembering time. It's not the time issue that was important. Rather, Rabban Gamliel is teaching us a very, very important lesson. The Jews were enslaved in Egypt for hundreds of years. Then there was the process of leaving. There was one plague, there was another plague, there were many setbacks, and at the end of the day, even many of the Israelites didn't think that this redemption is going to happen. Yet, as our sages teach us, Yeshuat Hashem keheref ayin, the redemption from Hashem comes in the blink of an eyelid. The exodus from Egypt was so quick. And Rabban Gamliel wanted to emphasize the fact that Hashem's redemption comes so quickly. He wanted to emphasize this over the 210 years of slavery. The message for today is very, very obvious. We are living, as I've ever mentioned, in difficult times. And we are all praying and davening together with keeping the medical requirements of social distancing and so on. We are praying for a redemption. And sometimes we may feel that this won't come. Sometimes we may feel that this is really just something that we're davening for, but this plague is going to continue. And this is what many of the Israelites thought in Egypt as well. However, Yeshuat Hashem, the redemption from Hashem, comes in the blink of an eyelid. Please God, in the same way as the Jews were redeemed from Egypt, suddenly, so too should there be a very quick and sudden end to all of our troubles, and of course a very special refuah shlema, a wish to get well for all those people throughout the world that are affected by the current crisis. Once again, we take the opportunity from both of us to wish you Chag Sameach, a happy Pesach.